Hi, Doug here. So I'm here with the scale and I'm trying to make sure it's calibrated. I'm trying to figure out the weight positions. And this gets hard because it's like an algebraic problem. You're trying to solve for an unknown. So I'm missing different weights and it came with this weight, which is not the same as these ones. It's 1 kilo. And I was hoping it was 1 kilo. Well, how do I know this? Well, this doesn't weigh 1,000 grams. That's the funny part about scales because it's on a 4.7 to 1 lever ratio or 4.3 to 1 lever ratio, which I had to figure out. So how I went about this is I currently have a 10-pound calibrated weight sitting on here. And if you look, the scale, oh, it's kind of hard to get lined up here. Until I bumped it, was resting perfectly at 0. And it currently is sitting at, so this is 2 kilogram representation. And then this slidey weight, you'll see the blue lines I have marked there. It's also 2 kilograms. So 2 and 2, so that's 4,535.9, which if you look online is exactly equal to 10 pounds in grams. So the scale's working. How did I go about this? That was the fun part. So if I take this 10-pound weight off of here, you'll see that I have some tape on the bottom of these. What I did, 1 kilogram the same way, I have a little bit of tape on the bottom there. I used these copper BBs to add a little bit of extra weight to the weights to make them match. So on here, this has a 1 kilogram setting. So I slid it to 1 kilogram. I put this to 0. Oh yeah, let me start from the beginning. First thing I did was I set everything to 0. And I let it balance out to 0, which it's getting there slowly. This little weight stack here, if I shake it, you hear it rattle. The bottom unscrews. It's a cup where you put little lead slivers inside to adjust, to balance out the scale to give you exactly 0. From years of people carrying it by this, which they shouldn't, it threw it out a little bit, so I had to add a little extra weight to it and readjust it. So I got that all dialed in, so it set exactly at 0. So then I set this to 1 kilogram, like so. So you think, okay, well, I'll just take the 1 kilo and put it on here and it will match, right? Well, remember I told you this weighs 4.3 times less than 1 kilogram. So I had to do the math. And it turns out 5 kilograms is very close to, this weight was very close to weighing 1 kilogram. I know it sounds kind of goofy because I said 4.3 to 1 and it's 5. So what I did is I did the conversion ratio, which I don't remember off the top of my head. It was something like, I don't know, 200 and something. And what I did is I then ran this to 0 on here, and then that was allowed me to dial that in to get it calibrated. So from that point on, I could then set weights. So I just picked up random things, you know, glasses and stuff like that. And I kept adding BBs until this read exactly 1 kilogram. And I dialed that in to 0. So once that read exactly 1 kilogram, I then took what's supposed to represent 1 kilo. I put it on the extension weight stack here, and then I put this all the way back to 0. When I did that, I ran it to balance and realized this weight was too light. So I flipped it over and I just kept adding copper BBs until it balanced at exactly what the scale thought was 1 kilogram. So once I did that, I needed to verify the 2 kilogram weight. So now that I know the calibration weight, I then built up 2 kilograms onto this one. Well, how do you measure 2 kilograms? It only goes to 1 kilogram. Well, I now know this is 1, so I put the 1 on there, and then I took the weight, and I put it to 2. And then I stacked weight on there until it balanced, so I knew I had exactly 2 kilograms on there. And what I did then was I added this weight. So I took this again back to 0. I removed the 1 kilogram weight. I stuck the 2 kilogram weight on there, and then I kept adding BBs. Again, this one took a lot more to get that to exactly 2 kilograms. This one, as you can tell, is definitely from a different scale. This one says 100 pounds, which is kind of funny because that was probably for a much bigger scale. And it's just whatever they had laying around, I guess. So I then put that on there and got it calibrated. So now I have a known value for a 2 kilogram and a known value for a 1 kilogram. So from there, I needed to figure out how to get my 10 pounds. Well, with 10 pounds, like I said, I needed that 4,500 value. So to get to 4,000, I needed to start using this. This guy, as I mentioned before, used to be a 3rd bar in here. If you spot the 3rd bar scale, you can actually see there were little spots where screws would have been for that 3rd bar. And this guy normally just lives back here and there's a set screw that locks it so you don't see it. Well, I loosened the set screw so I can actually use it. It slides on this beautiful brass bar in here. So I got that all cleaned up and working. And if you notice these little blue marks here and here, Well, those are what I calibrated to be 1 and 2 kilograms. Same method. I put enough weight on here to equal exactly 1 kilogram. I then slid that weight back and I slid this forward until it balanced. That told me that this weight set here is equal to 1 kilogram of weight. So if I put this at 1 and then this at 1, that gives me 2 kilograms. And then if I put the 1 kilogram on again, that's now 3 kilograms or 3,000 grams of weight compensation. So I need to get to 4,000, I think it was 500 for this. So how did I do that? Well, so what I did is I set this back to 0. I left this at 0. I then slid this to the 2 position, like so. So that's representing 2 kilograms. I then took my known now 2 kilogram mass. I stuck that on there. So I'm now representing 4,000. And I think, what was it, 500? And then 35.9 or somewhere around there. And I slid those down and then I let this balance out a little bit less there until it gets down to the 0 point. It takes a while as it oscillates back and forth through those. And then at that point, I knew that my 10.00000 calibrated weight should be in grams, the 4,539 or 35.9 grams. And this proved that everything I did worked and the scale is now accurate. So I took very few knowns, was able to produce values for my unknowns in the formula and come up with a full known value for my scale. So I now have an infinite range from 0 or 1 gram all the way up to 20 kilograms or 44 pounds using just the weights I have here to have a known balance. So I figured you guys get a kick out of the process. I know it was kind of a lengthy video. I appreciate you guys sticking through on it, but it's kind of cool. And I'm using the balance to help teach myself and teach it to figure out the weights and get everything going through. And again, I'm sure that's how it was done back in the day to get your weights calibrated because you didn't have computers. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.